Hey folks, behind the scenes here at the museum. Today I am tackling one of the biggest problems that we have to manage in the museum. Although now we are masters of Tetris, we do have some pretty big exhibits. Some of them, like the telephone exchange and Jones organ, are the size of a room. Not to mention we have a few synthesizers, a few more synthesizers, a few more synthesizers, and even a world record breaking massive wall-size synthesizer. Yeah, we're gonna have to be a little bit clever about this. Oh, this is just a panel from a nuclear power station. So to help us fit more stuff in the museum, we have had a little rearrange. Let me show you what I've been doing. The interactive video wall with the video synthesizer, the vision mixer, this cool, like microscopic viewer. You can see Look Mum No Computer's face there, and the VHS player where we've cut into it so you can see it moving on around in there. All of that has now been combined in the same cabinet as the display, the display of all of the, you guessed it, displays. We've got Nixie tubes, we've got VFD tubes, we've got electroluminescent displays, plasma displays, projection displays, all kinds of amazing old school number figure displays. But we've got other videos talking about all of those things. We're not concentrating on that today, because between the video wall and the display, I can reveal the centerpiece of the display cabinet, which we've cut the shelving out for, the Steenbeck Film Editing desk. Back when you had analog film, you needed ways to cut it all together. And that is where this desk comes in. You can see there's a spool of film going through all here. The film goes on through here, goes through a set of mirrors and goes up to the viewing screen up here. You can load different films onto here and switch between the two and decide where your cut point is. Then you can take your film off, view it on here on this little illuminated panel, decide where you want to cut it on here, and then splice it together. And that is where the phrase the cutting room floor comes from, of course, because all of the film that you're not going to use, you cut out, you just chuck it on the floor. Literally. It makes me editing this video very appreciative of how easy it is now. We've even skipped the whole stage where you have to develop the film. Coolest thing about this desk is this little paddle here which controls the speed of the motors. So if I just do it a little tiny bit, you can see it's only winding the film through very slowly, and we can view it frame by frame. But I can also fast forward, we can go a load faster, or go in reverse. Now you get extra points if you can tell me the name of this film. You will notice that this is actually an unedited bit of film, because you just see in the top of the frame there, can you see it? Right there. That's the boom mic. They haven't cut it out of the film yet. This desk came to us via the Lucian Nunez collection. We're very grateful that it's here now, and we're told that it actually used to reside in Elstree Studios. So it would have been used by some pretty notable people on some fairly notable films, you would have thought. And we do believe at one point it was used by Stanley Kubrick, which is pretty cool, isn't it? And when we picked up this desk, this little unassuming box was sat right next to it. But you can see, we got a bit excited when we read the postage label, because it's actually addressed to Stanley Kubrick. And you can even see that somebody has written on here, The Shining. So this was intended to be delivered to the set of The Shining. Yeah, so it's Stanley. If you want to come and pick up your mail, we've got it here for you. We don't know what's inside, and we're not going to open it. The mystery sometimes is more fun. Is it just a bulb? Probably. But it may well be some undiscovered footage. You never know. I might actually be able to retire one day if I put this on eBay. So I think we can agree this thing is pretty cool. We've got a load of ideas and plans of what to do with it, including, you know, workshops and different kind of arty projects. And in future we'll get someone here who knows more about it than me to talk you through the technical aspects. But today we are just focusing on turning this into an interactive exhibit in the museum, so you can come and actually play with the film yourself, because that's what we do here. As much as possible, we don't like things locked away in glass cabinets. We like it so you can get hands-on with stuff and put yourself in the shoes of the people who use this stuff and have a tactile experience, because that way you can learn and appreciate much better. So let's get to some museuming. We got to turn this into an interactive exhibit. It's got to be safe, it's got to be simple to use, and it's got to run without any supervision. Okay. First off, let's take the viewer off the back so that we can give it a good clean check that the mirrors are not all dusty. Oh yeah, they're not the best. So yeah, we'll give them a little polish. That one especially, it's got a spider on it. That should improve the image quite a bit. Success. I'd say that's definitely brighter and clearer. Safety is the biggest concern, and the biggest problem is someone just sticking their finger into here and getting all mashed up. We do not want that. You can see it's got these bits here for interlocking with the sprockets on the film, and they are a bit sharp. And if you get your finger caught between that and this bit, you're going to know about it. So we got to cover this whole area so nobody can go sticking their fingers in. And through making a lot more of the exhibits interactive, we've actually taken a bit of this polycarbonate off one of the cabinets over here so I can use it over here. And I've cut a little notch there so it can slide all the way back and cover all of the dangerous bits. There was some old Velcro there. I need to get some stuff to clean all this sticky stuff off, but you know, perfect is the enemy of good enough. So I will get to that later. Okay, to fix it in place, I've taken a screw out of here, cut a little hole there, found another little bolt with the same thread, cut that down with an angle grinder, and we can use this now to fix this in place so you can't move it. So at the moment, how I've got this perspex, it is resting on the top of these spools here, which isn't perfect. So eventually I will cut that properly and we'll get some little standoffs so it's nicely propped up. But we want people to be able to use this weekend, so this is going to work. And this little switch here, if I push that, that disables these first two, so they ain't moving. Only these two are moving, and you can't get in there with your fingers. So now we need to modify these switches so that this one is always on and that these ones won't do anything if you press them, because they control all the clutches and stuff, and people don't need to be messing with that on open days. Also, I think it would be good if these two plates here didn't spin, because if someone just is leaning on these, they don't really realise they're going to turn on, then we're going to break stuff, aren't we? Now you can see inside the machine, I've taken the panel off there. We can see the bottom of the switches there. You can see the cables coming in and connecting to that bottom contact on the switches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to desolder those, and it's documented now on this video, so if I need to put it back to how it was originally, I can look back at this video and we can do that. You'd be surprised how often we actually refer back to our own videos. And there's also the belts here that are connecting those plates that we don't want to turn, so I'm going to disconnect the belt, and again, that is easily reversible. Okay, awesome. So when I go backwards, only this moves. When I go forwards, only that moves. Nothing here. And also when I press this button, there's no crunching in stuff from the clutches. When I press this button, we're all good. This one is always wired on so that these are always turned off. And this one, I've left it wired up because it shifts up the framing. Oh, nearly ran out of film there. Oh, I'll wind it back. There you go. Yeah, so people can still play with this, which is pretty cool. You would have figured out the next problem that we need to solve, the fact that you can actually run out of film. We don't want to be having to re-thread it the whole time. So we need to make an endless loop of film. And this is something that I want to put out to you guys. So if you want to make us a loop that we can put on this Steenbeck desk and you want to post it to us, I think that would be a pretty cool follow-up to this video. And there's all sorts of different things that you could do. So this takes 35mm film. You could just make a loop of some film that you've got, but you could do something a bit more arty. I've seen people who scratch into the film to make patterns and things. People who paint onto the film. You can actually buy 35mm leader, which is clear like acetate with the sprocket holes on. So a completely blank film, and then, you know, in some artistic way, make your own patterns on there and make an animation. So if you fancy doing that, I think that would be really cool if we could get a collection of those little films that we can rotate and put on this machine. So let's follow this video up with another one, doing a loop, and maybe in future, you know, this can be something we can do as a workshop here at the museum. Let us know if you're into that idea. And I just measured how long the film needs to be. If you're going to go around like this and then around there and around the back, that's about 270 centimetres. But you can thread the film a bit differently, have it looping around here if you want a shorter loop. Probably just like a metre would do it at minimum. But also if you wanted to make a longer loop, I'm pretty sure that it can just like take up the slack and deal with it. And the fact that our Steenbeck is compatible with 35mm film is really cool, because that is the kind of standard format for still cameras. So it's quite easy to get hold of, quite easy and cheap to develop, and you can do things like take a series of still photographs and then turn that into an animation when we put it onto the Steenbeck. So that'd be pretty cool. All right, printed out some labels there so people know what to do. And I think for today, at least, we're done. Looking pretty cool. Thank you for joining me for this video. There's a lot more to do to finish off all of these display cabinets and things, but I think this little section of the museum is starting to look pretty cool. Having combined those two exhibits means that we've made a load more space over here. There's some temporary exhibits down there at the moment, but we've got some cool ideas for this wall. And if you remember, we moved one of the telephone exchanges, so now we've also got this wall to play with. We've also soon got a plan to relocate the synth island over here, so we can make a bit more of an open plan space with some temporary exhibits in the middle. But that will mean that we'll be able to do some events in this big room. So if you've got some ideas for events that we could hold, maybe some film screenings with real projectors, maybe some like synthesizer DIY workshops where you can build Eurorack modules like these, let us know in the comments. So this is now ready as an interactive exhibit for this weekend, and we're open 1 till 4 every weekend, the Saturday and the Sunday. And we're in Ramsgate, so that's just a short hop on the train down from London. Lovely seaside town, so if you're visiting London or you're in the area, come and pay us a visit and play with all the cool stuff. And if you want to support the museum but you can't make it down, you can make a one-off donation through PayPal. There's links in the description, or you can visit the website where we've got sample pack downloads, or you can subscribe to the Patreon where you get bonus videos and good stuff. It'd be really cool if we could get some of those 35mm film loops. The address you can post them to is on the museum website. I'd be excited to see what you come up with, and we will do a follow-up video to this, making our own tape loops and trying those out. We also have some speakers for this that we need to dig out so we can listen to the audio. So that'll all be in the next update. Thanks very much for watching. See you in the next one.